Okay, so a new Star Wars game was announced yesterday. It's called Jedi Fallen Order, and it's going to be published by EA, which has raised a few eyebrows. But obviously, EA, I believe, have exclusive publishing rights for Star Wars games going forward. It's going to be out in November, but what is surprising, considering it's published by EA, is there's going to be no multiplayer and there are going to be no microtransactions, apparently, which got great cheers from all of the audience. No microtransactions in an EA game, yeah. I think it's a case of we need to see it to believe it. But that's what they've announced. And it looks really promising. It's going to be developed by Respawn Entertainment, which did the Titanfall games, and the recent Apex Legends, which is a battle royale game. Battle royale, we're not big fans, I don't think, but it's proven quite popular, and they seem to be quite good, reputable developers, and they've come a long way in a short space of time to be taking on the Star Wars franchise. But so what do we think about? I don't know if any of you have seen the trailer for the new Star Wars game. I've seen it. It looks quite impressive, but it's going to be published by EA. So what do we think about this? The state of modern games today, where we're cheering on the fact there's going to be no microtransactions and celebrating the fact there's going to be no multiplayer in a game. Brian?
How did it get to this? Like, why did EA allow themselves to be in this position where they're having to post a tweet like that? I saw that tweet earlier, that it will be no DLC, or no loot crates, nothing like that.
Yeah.
And they said, and nor there ever will be. But why should we have had to question them? Why did it ever get to this point? Because they're greedy. They're a former shell of themselves. They used to be the innovative company that used to be excited every time they announced something new. They were the innovators in the 16-bit era, and somewhere between 16-bit and now, the wheels fell off. I just find it really sad. But you know, we saw what was that Star Wars game that was cancelled?
1313.
That should never have happened, but that is what it is. But like, EA have just abused, I think personally, this Star Wars license that they've had, and we've had very little back as a result of this deal that they had between them and Disney. And this is kind of like EA on last notice, I think, with Disney. So what do you guys think of that?
I think it's almost certainly driven by Disney, sort of given an ultimatum and said, look, you've got to do this. But also, you know, let's be a bit positive for a second, because also, well, it's not be positive. They are EA, but this I think, to an extent, this whole sort of piss take party with the way games are going at the moment is kind of coming to the end, because governments are starting to get involved a little bit, and they're going to get regulated into the floor otherwise. So I think they must be dipping their toes in the idea of, you know, they're seeing other games, standalone games, still releasing and still making money, you know, serious money, which still happens. It just doesn't make enough money for them to be happy. So maybe they're just dipping their toes to see if they can actually reintroduce that into their sort of catalogue of things. Hopefully, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that they're doing it. I don't think they should be patted on the back for it, because they're still dicks. But we'll see if they do that, and if they actually do stick to this and maybe commit to making some more standalone games in future. That's just a good thing for everyone, isn't it? But we'll have to wait and see.
Honestly, for me, I think I've said this on several occasions, but I'm past the point with EA that I will ever support or like financially pay a penny for anything that they do. So it's fair enough that they're like doing this to try and show a little bit of willing, but it's very obvious that Disney's got a gun to their back about this. This is not EA, is it? It's not at all. Even after the controversy with Battlefront 2, one of the main guys came out and was like, "Well, to be honest, our plan is to figure out how to get more microtransactions into gaming." So I'm not believing that a year later they suddenly had a change of heart. It's not. It's just not them. So yeah, fuck EA. I couldn't care less. Fuck them.
Well, one day I hope to find out what Mark thinks of EA. I'm really hoping to find out. But, I guess
I'm on the fence, mate. I'm on the fence.
Yeah. And they've specifically said as well, because there is worry that they won't. They'll add. They're saying on release they won't have microtransactions, but they'll add it later. They specifically said we will not be adding microtransactions later. But again, we'll have to see it to believe it. Maybe I think you're right about Disney. Disney own the Star Wars franchise now, and I think they're worried about what they're doing to it, essentially.
There's no multiplayer at all. I just saw that there is absolutely no multiplayer. This is 100% single player. and it's all about the story in Jedi Fallen Order, which they say here that just suits us just fine, which is what we've. I don't know. I mean, I like multiplayer experience. I'm not saying I'm not anti-multiplayer. I just hate it though when they make it the false focus of it, the sole focus, of a game. I just would like to see that the main focus be around the single player, with multiplayer being it's there if you want it. That's always been my take on games. Just like, and Halo have done that as well. Halo, up until the last one, was always based around the single player campaign, and then you go on and for shits and giggles later on multiplayer with the awesome maps that they were releasing. But Halo 5, they kind of went the other way around, and it turned me off as a gamer personally. And that's what EA have been doing for all along, trying to work out how to get as many people on there and then gouge money out of them as much as possible.
Yeah, what you were saying there about the focus, Brian, on single player and giving the option of multiplayer, it's been the complete opposite recently with the likes of Call of Duty and games like that. The sole focus has been on multiplayer, and they've spent like an hour making the single player, sometimes not even including a single player. I can't remember what Call of Duty game it was. I think one of them recently didn't even have a single player campaign. That caused quite controversy. So it's quite refreshing to see a game that's solely single player. I absolutely embracing this. I absolutely love it. And I like Star Wars as well. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I do like Star Wars, and this looks like a really good game. And if they're going to focus on a really good single player experience, I think it's really refreshing. It's what sort of the gaming community has been crying out for quite a while, to focus on a good single player game.
And the other thing about this, just quickly, is that the thing with Star Wars video games is that they give you an opportunity to explore side characters or side stories that don't get looked at too often in the movies, and it's a good opportunity to delve into that. It's a really good creative license for these guys to just go, hey, here's some really solid IP, do what you want with it, and let's see where this takes us.
Obviously, the license, there's so many opportunities to create a fantastic game with Star Wars. I wasn't too impressed with the last Battlefront game. I bought it. I didn't even bother with Battlefront 2, but I bought Battlefront 1, and it was not as good as the PS2 game.
Yeah.
And people were waiting ages for this Battlefront game. It was delayed, and then it finally came out, and it was quite unimpressive for me. I really like the PS2 Battlefront game.
Looks gorgeous though. Like, that's the thing about it.
Yeah, I can't fault the graphics.
Yeah.
Can't fault the graphics. Absolutely beautiful, but the gameplay is just not as expensive as the PS2 one. And this one is set to take place, I believe. So there's a story to it for Star Wars fans as well. It's set to take place in between episode 3 and 4. So Revenge of the Sith and the first movie, I believe, if you follow that episode line. Again, I'm not massive into Star Wars. I like Star Wars, but that's where the story's set to take place. And interestingly, it's going to run on the Unreal Engine and not Frostbite. So that's another change as well from the previous Battlefront games, which run on Frostbite, I believe. So there's talk of, is this going to be a first person or a third person game? We don't know yet. There's been no gameplay. We've only got the trailer, and they state as always that this isn't gameplay footage. So what you're seeing now may not be in the final game, but it does look impressive from what I've seen.
It might actually be the first EA game I've bought in ages. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this is the start of them building their reputation back up. But also, what I'll suggest is do not pre-order this game.
No.
That's what I'll. Yeah, don't pre-order it. Wait for the reviews, and if the reviews come out great, it looks promising now. But it's EA, and I don't trust them. So, like all games in general, really, I would say don't pre-order it. Wait and see what comes out of it. Sorry, go on, Ash. Sorry.
I think if we want EA to change, we've got to vote with our wallets, haven't we? So if people do want to see them do better things, the way to indicate them is hitting work. The thing they actually listen to is they listen to the money, right? So if you want them to do this, and they are capable of making good games, they've got a lot of resources, buy it. If you don't care, like Mark said, he's full respect to him, he's past the point of no return with EA. I'm not that passionate about it personally, but if you don't want to do it, don't buy anything. But if you do have some faith left in them, buy the games that you want to buy. Don't support the stuff that's shit.